We're back for another episode of Rogue Legacy, and last time we'd spent some money to upgrade our guy, so he's got a double jump, and he can sprint dash around. One of the things I didn't get a chance to mention is one of the reasons you want to spend all of your money on your heir to equip them for the next run in the castle is that in order to enter the castle, one must pay the toll, which you have to give up all of your money in order for the next player to play. So it's always the case that as you're buying things that you want to buy as much as you can and try to get your gold down as close to zero, because basically gold is something that you can't take with you between runs, at least not until we unlock something later. So once again, we will continue with this character, but this character, oh boy, has walked into a hard room. Once again, the castle is randomly generated, and so it's different than we saw last time. This room is a little bit more difficult than the first room we came into last time. However, this guy has a double jump. He has the ability to sprint, and so he can jump back after he takes a swing at this guy. And, hey, we got lucky, and that guy dropped a chicken leg, which just healed us back up to our maximum health, and so that's great. And now if I can get good at the button pressing, we can actually kill a few of these guys and try to make some progress. So I guess, while we're in the castle, I can talk a little bit more about some of these various enemies. So that is a zombie. He is kind of the lowest level of one of those characters. Their main thing is they just kind of appear out of the floor, and so they can surprise you. For the most part, enemies appear all over in rooms. There isn't a great deal of pattern in terms of where the enemies appear, although the room layouts have certain patterns. And so zombies are most, I guess, dangerous from the point of view of their unpredictability. This guy, I think, is called a pupil. No, he's a scout. Pupil is the next level up. And so every few seconds he shoots a little drop of blood at you. And that drop of blood can go through walls. And so that's kind of its main thing. There's these little fireball traps on the top of this room. Anytime there's a trap, there's something firing off screen, like you get that little graphic that you see at the top there to let you know that something's coming, which is kind of nice. And I'm not particularly good at dodging those things, even with my... Actually, now that I have the sprint rune, hold on. I think I could dodge these things and try to get up to some of this furniture. I've got the double jump, too. Alright, let's give this a try. Oops. I sprinted right into it first thing. I think that's a harbinger of things to come. I'm going to avoid that room for now, even though there might be some good loot near the top. So that guy... I already forgot what his name was. The guy who was just shooting on the wall. Alright, here's one of the paintings. It's called the Doomvis. Oh dear. Ah, darn it. I tend to panic when I'm around them because even... Oh, darn it. These fireball traps are some of the most predictable enemies in the entire game, and I find that they're one of the enemies that I do most poorly against. Alright, and so we're going to sprint past them in a moment. Alright, we're just going to get away from these rooms because I'm not doing well here. Okay, do you see what's on the wall? There is a fireball trap, and it just hadn't started going. I'm going to let you see it again. So basically you see those little kind of like metal shooty things. And so that is a room that basically you need to run in and try to break some furniture and get some gold, and then exit out of quickly. Fortunately, I had the double jump, and so that enables me to more easily get up onto those platforms that you need to attack in order to kind of make them spring to life so that you can stand on them. And so we're just going to aim to a different part of the castle because the random generation over there was not being kind to Brian. I'm sure some other people would do fine in those rooms, but everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and we ran into a few of my weaknesses right there. Alright. So, this guy shoots right at you when he shoots, and so it's often the case for him and for a number of enemies that you can kind of like stand in a particular location for a moment until somebody's about to shoot, and then move to a different location, so that when they do shoot, they're not going to get you. Here's another one of these zombies. They start popping out of the floor once you get within a certain radius of them. Alright, we got another chicken leg, which healed us some. That's great. Okay, there's a bit happening in this room. This guy... Oh, dear. Alright, I didn't see the painting. This guy who flies around will occasionally pause and then start flying at you a little bit more quickly again. Oh, the Grey Knight. Hit me with this sword. That does a fair bit of damage. Is this painting going to come to life? No, this painting does not. And... oh, boy. I don't think I want to go in that room either. Although there was a treasure chest inside of it. If I hug the left wall, yes, I'm somewhere where the spikes aren't going to get me. Alright, so let's just get the timing down. Alright, I can stand down here. Oh, I completely forgot about my spell again. So, I mentioned that you can't kill these little spike ball trap thingies. it is the case that I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think like some random interval or some random number of bounces, they tend to kill themselves. And so we just saw a few of them die kind of randomly. And there's another way much later in the game that it's also possible to kill those guys. But you won't see them dying very often, and so for the most part, you can just kind of treat them as an invincible enemy at the beginning. I want to take a look at the map. Oh man, it looks like I'm going to have to go up and right are the only ways that I can go, and visit some of those rooms that I really didn't want to visit. And those spikes are called... Oh, interesting. They don't seem to have a name when I'm on the pause screen like other enemies, and I need to remember that I can move more quickly, especially through rooms that I've already cleared of enemies, by using my little dash. Alright, I don't like this room, but I need to go to the right. So, let's try to time it. Yay! Alright, got through there. Whoa! Alright. Let's get to here. This is a safe spot to stand. Let's kill this thing. That was called a Planky. And you just heard a calendar reminder and windows go off in the background. Sorry about that. Alright, and so I've made it through this room. Hooray. Alright, this is another room where you just need to time things well. Alright, great. That wasn't so bad. More of these Planky guys. Gotten one hit on all of them, I think. Alright, that painting is going to come to life. They don't come to life until either you attack them or touch them or get within a very close radius. And so I can try to kill off some of the other guys to make the room a little bit safer before I go after the paintings. I don't think I'm going to be able to reach the top guy. So let's hit one of the paintings and try to kill it. We'll take a few hits. There we go. Alright, one painting down. We can finish this guy off. And then we can deal with the other painting. And like I said, it's good to clear rooms, both from the point of view of that way when you come back through the room, there won't be anyone to attack you, and also because each of the enemies sometimes has a small chance to drop a coin or a chicken leg. Alright, so these little things, they're called guard boxes, just continually shoot projectiles at you. They're one of the very few enemies in the game that doesn't have any contact damage, which means you can stand right on top of them, and they won't hurt you. It's only the things that they shoot that will hurt you. And so I can stand, I'm actually standing on a table that's a piece of furniture right there next to it. And yeah, so for example, now I'm standing on this little barrel thing. But basically I can walk right through that enemy so long as he's not firing at that moment, and he would not hurt me. There will be higher level versions. Oh dear! I walked right into that. Alright. Of that guard box enemy that shoot more projectiles in the future. And they can become very dangerous. So, let's see. I think I will just move back to the left over here. In general... Alright, so these things on the ground, underneath the furniture here, are spike traps. We may have seen them before. But basically, a moment after you step over them, spikes come up out of the floor. So they're kind of bad news. And... However, there's a character trait that lets you get around them. This is a very rare room. And it can be good or bad. Well, you pray for assistance. You can say yes, and you either get a good thing or a bad thing. Let's see what we get. Hermes boots. I think they allow us to walk on top of spikes. I've only had the Hermes boots like once or twice before in my life, and I can't actually remember. That's a room that we've already been in before, so let's try going up. And, okay, fairy chest. We saw a fairy chest in the previous episode. Basically, each fairy chest has a particular objective, and if you complete the objective, it unlocks the chest. And if you don't complete the objective, you can't get into the chest. And so in this one, it says defeat all enemies over there at the right. And this is a reasonable size room. I need to remember that I have a magic spell, and so I should use it on occasion to attack some of these enemies. Because we would like to defeat the fairy chest room, because I believe once you unlock a fairy chest, does it always give you a rune that you can use at the Enchantress with your next character? I think that might be what it is. So I'm just kind of taking it nice and slow. It's often the case in many of these rooms that are large that you can kind of peel off one enemy at a time, so rather than attacking everybody, you can just focus on one or two enemies, and so there's a skeleton farther to the right in this room. But I'm just slowly taking out these little Frost and Mage guys one by one. Now we'll go attack the skeleton dude. Alright, he's dead. There's another one of these guys. And yeah, if I attack him like that, then I don't even think I need to use my magical spell. The magic spells typically are good either for certain situations, kind of certain room configurations, or when there's tons of enemies around. They can often be a way to take out multiple enemies at once. These skeletons just hurl little bone projectiles at you, but are relatively easy. You'll notice on the right it says Objective Complete, over defeat all enemies, which means now I can open the fairy chest and get a rune, Sky Rune. There's, I think, 5 different types of runes. Sky Rune is not one that I really like, so it was a little unlucky that we got that one, but perhaps we will see what it does a little bit later on. That's one of the journal entries that tells the story of what's going on, the backstory, which is not very well written, so we're going to skip them over. They're not too exciting. Alright, and... okay, I'm doing a good job of dodging damage here, so that's good. A lot of this game, just like a lot of Spelunky, is about movement, and it's basically avoiding damage. This game plays a little bit more like a bullet hell sometimes than Spelunky from the point of view of oftentimes, especially as you get later on in the game and you reach more difficult enemies, you'll reach places... okay, this is great. I'm low on mana and low on health, and so I can get a chicken leg that will cause my health to go up in the upper left. And I can get a mana regen, which will cause my mana to go up in the upper left. And so that's going to help me. This teleporter room signals the entrance to the Maya is up here, so we're going to take a quick peek. Whoa, okay, just so you can see that that was the Maya, we're going to come back down into Castle Hampson, because the Maya is a more difficult area, and we would die in there. And apparently we entered the Maya over in this direction as well. You'll notice on the bottom left there's a chest, and every couple of seconds it shakes. That's actually a mimic. You guys know mimics from Terraria. Basically it looks like a chest full of loot, but actually it's an enemy that attacks you. And so that is an enemy that I think is specific to the Maya only. Not sure where I need to go next, so let's take a look at the map. And let's see. I can still go a bunch of places to the right, so I need to go down and then right, basically. The map is very useful. However, every character is different, and I guess we'll find out more about that later in terms of how it relates to the map. I don't want to give too much away right at the beginning. All right, let's go to the right out of this room, somewhere that I haven't gone. You can also see a mini-map up in the top right-hand corner. And the mini-map is nice because it shows you, for example, that there's a locked chest that I haven't opened yet. And those chests typically just contain like a whole lot of money, but that's a good thing. For the most part, a lot of your runs will be spent just trying to earn enough cash to buy some upgrades, so that your next character will be able to go farther, and eventually you'll be able to defeat some of the bosses. I think in the previous episode we actually found one of the boss rooms, but we did not go in and fight the boss, because once you enter, you cannot exit unless you defeat the boss. And most of the bosses... it's interesting, the bosses in this game... ooh, blueprint. That's something we can bring to the blacksmith and get a new piece of armor or weapon or something, and so that's a really good find. That is super useful. Most of the bosses actually are kind of... they have very predictable attacks, and so if you're a very good button presser or practice the bosses a lot, they're actually kind of easy. They're not easy for me because I'm not the best button presser in the world. And it seems like we've mostly come up to a dead end of the castle up here as well, and so I think I need to go, yeah, left and then down and then right in order to continue going somewhere else. Here is a place where our little dash thing, where we can go like that, is going to come in handy. I can jump to the right height and then dash across with my little dash. And it's possible to just, you know, do a jump in the air in order to get over those spikes, but it's much easier when you have the little dash effect. Alright, that thing, notice that it doesn't start firing until we've been in the room for about a second. And so for this room, I just want to sprint to get past it. Oh, darn it. Tried to attack that guy and wasn't fast enough. Alright, you can see there's some of those spike traps that come up under the ground. I have the Hermes boots, and it's possible that they'll make me immune to that, but I don't think I can't remember for sure. And I don't really want to test it, because it might kill my character if I get hit by like, the spikes. I think it's not the spikes that come out of the ground, but rather the spikes that are permanently there, maybe, that the boots are good for. I wish I could remember that. It's a rare item. It's rare to find one of those rooms where you can pray for assistance and get the little... You can actually see the Hermes boots in the upper left-hand corner next to my spell, next to the scythe. Ooh, we just got some more magic. So let's try to remember to use our spell. I think I can down stab at this guy. Oh, he's got a lot of health, though. It's going to take a lot of swings at this guy in order to kill him this way. But it's a reasonably safe way to attack him. And so I am going to do it. Yeah, you just try and swing that sword. You ain't got nothing on me, Grey Knight. Alright, and while I'm standing on these barrels, I don't have to worry about... Is that painting coming to life? No, it is not. Don't have to worry about the spike traps. Let's go ahead and break them in case they have coins or money or whatever. And, oh, there's a zombie here. Alright, as I mentioned before, the zombie's major advantage, the main thing that's going to get you, is the element of surprise when he pops out of the floor, and he almost got me there. Let's try to finish off this skeleton dude. Great. Let's break some more furniture. I didn't completely complete the room up there, but I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Hey, this is just what I need. Another refresher with some more health and some more mana. And you'll recall that we could use the teleporter to get back to any teleporter that we've seen anywhere else. But I'm just going to stay in the room that I'm in. Actually, teleport to the room that I'm in. And I don't want to go downwards, because that'll take me to a different area. The Land of Darkness, the dungeon, which will be very difficult. And so instead, we'll finish this room and then continue moving to the right, somewhere where we can stay alive. Oh boy! Alright. And now I think this room is clear. Let's go ahead and get... Oh, neat! More mana! Great! Alright, so I can use my spell. Let's remember that. And hey! Awesome. So... Each one of these rooms is a transition to another area, so we're about to enter the forest. Once again, oh crap, enemy right in my face right at the beginning. It's often the case that you need to be on high guard when you first enter a room and be ready to react. There's a number of rooms that are kind of like specifically designed to test your reaction time. Alright, there's some skeleton archers down on the land below, and that's the little off-screen projectiles that we're seeing occasionally. And so, alright, I'm going to jump down here and try to take him out. Great. And let's take this guy out. In general, it's easier to start from the bottom of a room and then work your way up, just because of the fact that a lot of the enemies kind of can't aim downwards, and you can kind of like see a bit more above your head as you take little jumps. You can't look down like you can in Spelunky. In Spelunky, you could like squat down and look below, further below on the screen. You can't do that in Rogue Legacy. And we've seen a room like that before. It's going to be harder to travel back to the left if I run through that room. Okay, this... I think I can do. Great. That's a lot of money. I mentioned that there's 4 areas. There's the castle, there's the forest that we're in, there's the Maya that's on top, and then the dungeon that's below. And as you get into the harder and harder areas, you get more and more money and rewards out of them. And so that chest that we just opened contained a lot of money. We're in the forest, and so chests in here will contain more money than the chests back in the castle, which is the easiest of the 4 areas. The forest is the second easiest, and so it's the next best place to go. It's always located to the right, and so it'll often be the case that I'll kind of be moving to the right as I move through the castle, through my first characters. This is going to be a difficult room. It's got a fairy chest that says defeat all enemies. There's a lot of bad guys in there and a lot of stuff happening. And so I think there's a fair chance I would die in that room. So I'm going to try to find other places to explore first. I'm going to use my spell on this guy. This guy just flies at you rather slowly, but then will fire projectiles at you occasionally. Oh crap, I didn't expect to land on top of here. I was trying to do like a little jump, and so I could just stay below. It's often the case that when there's these different platforms that you can jump up through, that it's often very easy to kill enemies just by kind of jumping up and hitting their feet when they can't hit you. That's another example of it being easier to approach most rooms from below. Alright, this is a weird room. We'll talk about this a bit after I kill off a few of the initial enemies who are going to try to kill me. So you see that guy shoots his little projectiles. Fury is his name, alright. Let me kill this guy as well if I can. You can hit enemies through the wall, and so, for example, I'm hitting the bloobs over there. It's not going to do me much good with this particular character and things that are going on, but in other situations it might. Alright, that guy's at least out of the way. You can see there's a chest in there. That's the guy with the shield who get a lot of knockback if I hit this guy. I can't get into that chest, but you'll notice at the bottom right at my feet here, there's a weird, looks like part of the wall is missing. Some of the characters in this game are dwarfs, who are tiny, and they can fit through little holes like that. And so that's one of the advantages of being a dwarf. Another advantage of being a dwarf is that you're small, and so it's harder for enemies to hit you, especially enemies that shoot projectiles at you, because you just have a smaller hitbox. However, there's disadvantages to being a dwarf as well. The main one is you don't have as much reach, you've got a smaller sword, and so you have to get much closer to enemies in order to actually hit them. And so, a lot of... Oh no! Alright, that ends our run with Lady Winry. Slain by Mr. Bones. There's all the enemies we killed, which was pretty good. I think we got a fair amount of money out of that character. And so let's go ahead and choose an heir. We could be a barbarian who's farsighted and colorblind. We could be a mage with ADHD and gigantism. Or we could be a mage who's clumsy with gigantism. And so this looks like the best guy. ADHD, as it says in the traits on the right, you move faster. And so ADHD is a good trait because it gives us more movement speed. Giantism, like the dwarf, it's kind of like the other way. You're a bigger character, and so you've got lots of reach. You can hit lots of things with your sword. However, you have a big hitbox, and so lots of guys will be able to hit you. But I think this is definitely the best of these three characters. And so we will grab this guy, and I managed to earn 1,340 gold. And so let's see what we can spend it on. I seem to recall that I got, yes, it shows new up here, a Night Helm. That would give us both more health and more mana. That's a very good thing to have. And so we're going to go ahead and purchase and equip this thing, which is great. As you try to equip more inventory, you'll run out of kind of carrying capacity, and so you need to get stronger to carry more weight. You can see that this says in the bottom right of the description, weight 15 out of 60. I can carry up to 60 pounds of weight, and this is going to add 10 weight, but it'll give me some more magic. And do I want to unlock that? Since this is not a magical character, this is a barbarian, right? How do I get my... There we go, Sir Charles. Oh no, he's a mage, I forgot. Then in that case, we definitely do want the thing that's going to give us the more magic. So let's get that. And so I will purchase that. And so our mana pool with this character is 180. You can see just how much reach he has. He's a huge guy. And since he's got ADHD, I don't know if you can really tell, but he's moving a little bit faster than he normally would. And we unlock the Sky Rune. And so this thing, it allows you the ability to fly kind of like temporarily in midair. I'm not very good at controlling it, and so I think instead of buying that, we're going to spend our money in other parts of the castle over here. We can upgrade the mage. That's definitely something that we want to do since we have a mage character and we can afford it. Turns it into an archmage, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to show off what the archmage can do because it's very useful. So in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see that my spell is currently an axe. I can't remember if we've seen the axe before, but basically it flies in a little arc. Again, on the screen, you can use it as much as you want on the training dummy just to get a sense of how it works. However, since I'm an archmage doesn't just have one spell, he actually has 3, and there's another button I can press to swap between 3 spells in the upper left-hand corner. And so I can switch to the little knife that we saw with our first character that just shoots a knife horizontally straight across. Or I can switch to Time Stop. Time Stop basically freezes time, freezes the enemies, and your mana kind of like goes down over time until you turn it back off. And so that is very useful, basically being able to switch between spells because different rooms would benefit from different spells. And so that's nice for our Archmage. And what else do we have over here? We can unlock the Miner. And the Architect is something we're eventually going to need. But instead, I think I will get magic damage up since we have a mage right now. And mana up could be good as well. Let's see, I have 380 gold. I would like to try to spend all of it. So let's do that. Oh, I can't quite afford mana up now. Prices kind of like go up as you buy more things. So it seems like that's all I'm going to be able to afford, sadly. But here is our character. And I'm going to check on the time for the episode and see if we should move forward with him, or I'll have to see you guys again soon. yeah, once again, I think that's a good place to stop, and so next time we will pick up with this mage character and see what kind of damage we can do with him. He does not have a large health pool, but he has a lot of spells and a lot of mana. He'll be able to kick some butt, I think. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you again soon with more Rogue Legacy.